schedule, but well, life is about staying in course or getting back into course. You're always gonna be presented with challenges, regardless. Down, 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 down. Let's see if it gets. It did. Good. Good. I think I should be live. And how about you? Yeah. Well, I'm live again. Okay. Alright. All seems to be working. Let's just check sound quality. There you go. Well, yeah. That's it. Today I was hoping to have a light again, but what do you know? It just decided to, like, I think it burned or something. Trying to turn it on and it just went off, like fully went off. So I don't know, you guys. No, and that one I cannot use it, so I have to figure my stuff out. Guess I could use this little guy here. So my makeshift light. There you go. It is something. I've been made already 2 drawings I haven't added, I don't think. Yeah. Alright. No, of course I'm covering the light. All the talk about the light, to just cover it. Of course. Maybe you can hear my daughter falling asleep on the background, fighting to fall asleep. I should change the name of this thing, like man versus technology should be the name of the thing, instead of draw with me. Jesus. And we have this thing of believing that technology is gonna take over. Yeah, sure. Incredible. Alright. As usual, my favorite tool is this brush pen, Unipin file line. Let's see what I can do today with it. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy and see if I can do something decent, half decent. been thinking of another kind of segment for my channel that might help me create content more consistently and a little bit less stressful, and like something about movies, along the lines of what I've watched recently, and just talk about it. And that might be an interesting thing for someone, for some people, I guess. And if you were looking for stuff to watch, I can definitely point you in some directions and give recommendations for different tastes. I don't know. Also, still my cough remains. I don't know if it's the same cough, but a version of it still remains. Maybe I should go to a doctor. I'm not a huge fan of doctors. As famous last words. But yeah, might have to. I wonder if this actually goes through, if people are, this is gonna be like our day-to-day life, people getting enhancements or fixing whatever is wrong with them. And just living their lives with implants or augmentations. This theory has been it exists. I don't know since when, but it's been around for a long time. So I wonder if it's gonna become a reality, or I don't know. Or is AI gonna take us in a different direction? questions about this. Weird. This whole thing about algorithms and how they've become so powerful over how we do things or how we communicate things. I don't know if it's great, but it is a reality. How do we move from this into something that might help creators stand out a little bit more? Hello, all good, all things considered. How about you? I forgot about my coffee. It's already cold. Good to hear. Is it summer in England now? I saw something. I don't know if it's I, if that's the right place because I'm terrible with names. But I saw something. I think about Edinburgh. Oh, cool. Uh, yeah, when we have the chance to do that, it's awesome to be able to just do our own things. This is wrong. I knew that was. There you go. Yeah, I was off. So yeah, Edinburgh, if I'm not mistaken, is in Ireland, not Scotland. Anyways, I'm sorry if I get that wrong. But I was watching a blog about that spot, that city. I hope I'm getting it right. But I think it's the place from where Harry Potter and Lady wrote her books, and there's a lot of stuff that influenced the books. Like right from the get go, when I started watching the thing, I was like, "Oh, that looks like some Harry Potter stuff." And as the video went along, it started showing a bunch of like I don't know famous people that had names that are really similar to the ones on the books, and a bunch of places that kind of influence the thing. So there's a lot of tourism that has evolved around this Harry Potter lore. Sorry if I get that wrong, but second language. It seems like a really cool spot to visit. Really interesting. They also have like a Johnny Walker museum that seems really interesting as well. It's a that's a really famous brand in my country, and I guess all over the world. So might be interesting to see where it actually comes from and the history behind it. Edinburgh. Was it Edinburgh? Uh, yeah, I don't. Sorry if I got the details wrong, but that's what I remember. Um, really interesting spot. It reminded me a little bit of Quebec. That's like the only city I know that might be similar. Like all Quebec and that sort of thing. That's a really cool place to visit as well. I feel like this drawing is lacking, but you win some, you lose some. That's the reality of this. I don't know. I also saw a really interesting show on Netflix, but it's kind of adult theme. So it's like this detective type show. I think it's really well done, but it's I don't know, it's a rough subject matter. But also the place where they film, I'm trying to figure out where it was because it's a national park and it's incredible. The vistas are amazing. I wonder if it was Yellowstone or something like that. I don't know. Could be wrong. We also ended up. We were watching a show called Stick, I think is the name, about golfing. It reminds me a lot of Team Cup. It Even though I showed the film to my wife and she was telling me that for her it is a different thing. I don't know, the character to me seems really similar. Granted, there's some differences. The other one seems to be way more stubborn and he just messes up consistently. But they share a lot of similarities. To me, they really do. Let's see if I can. It's wrong. This is the right one. Oh my goodness. Getting old is not fun. It's not fun at all. I feel I need to actually paint some stuff. Kind of getting tired of just doing sketches. And I do have to select some interesting ideas for it. I just don't wanna do something willy-nilly. Just wanna create something worth it. At least to me. Might not be worth it for anybody else. But that's the thing about art, right? It's have to be worth it for you. The effort and the sacrifice it takes to create something. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's something about I've talked about this, like self criticism. There's some volume stuff that I wish I would have gotten better, but it I know it doesn't look all that bad, but I tend to be super critical, and I also have to keep myself in check because yeah, you cannot. It's good to be critical of the work you do, but not to go overboard all the time about it. You know, have to find a balance. Strike a balance. think creating is a struggle. Some people are better at dealing with that struggle, and they make it seem super effortless. Doesn't mean it's less of a struggle. Trying to fight entropy and chaos and control your own chaos. I also saw the. I watched so much stuff. It's uh, well, it. I would say that was my hobby for many years until it wasn't for a long while. But I've been getting back into it. I also watched the 28 Years Later film. That was surprisingly good. It's a weird film. The end is it's to me super weird. I don't know how I feel about the ending, but um, they do make some interesting choices, and the way they talk about certain things and how you have to uh, approach life. Like there's certain things that doesn't matter where you are at, the situation, you have to deal with the same issues that anybody has to face in any part of the world. It's just part of being human. So that to me was really interesting. But I understand that that kind of film is not for everyone, so I do get that. Might not be for all audiences. Fairly interesting though. The more I paint, the less I like it. I missed the mark on a specific part here. I'm gonna see if I can bring it back. Um, I think it's a fairly straightforward plot in terms of what you're dealing with, but in terms of where they make certain choices, I think is interesting to watch the other films, which I really like too. They're amongst the most interesting films in regards to zombies, uh, on the zombies genre. Or although technically as far as I know, these are not zombies. So that's better. That I was able to bring it back. I like it a little bit better. Find some separation there. And that eye is... it's so wrong! This eye is so wrong. I think I'm gonna have to leave it like that, because if I start messing with it, I'm gonna mess it up. That's the thing. If the advantage if you're using digital, and like I don't have to leave it as it is right now. I could change it, but with physical media, well, you have to deal with what you got. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's also, I know it's not great either. Could be better. So I don't know if I answer your question. You can watch this film and you're gonna understand the plot. But the other ones, I think the three of them have the director. I don't know if the director of the first one is the same one throughout the three, but I believe that is the original and this third one are from the same director. So it's kind of a small view into the way he thinks. I don't know, but I'm thinking of the film in different levels. It's not only about the plot itself. It's a zombie film, which there are plenty of different zombie films, but the way you decide to tell the story is where I'm talking about the way that person thinks. It has, the first one has really interesting cinematography and film language. It has a bunch of really nice aspects to it, and at the time it was, I would say, groundbreaking. It kind of shifted the, if I remember correctly, at the time there weren't any fast zombies, so he shifted that and it made it so much, it's so nerve-wracking. Like normally they move really slow, and it seems fairly easy to escape them. The thing, it usually is when you're dealing with a bunch of them, but in those films it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure most people won't be able to survive that. Like nobody knows if they can survive that situation. It's really stressful. So if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was the one who brought that into that genre, and it's actually also really grounded in reality in a lot of ways. So it makes it stressful because it feels real a lot of the times. The first one is super stressful, really interesting film. And if you watch The Walking Dead and that sort of TV shows and you know the comic books, you're gonna see some stuff that kind of connect to that film. I don't know if the author recognize like acknowledge that he took some aspects from that other thing. But I guess there's nothing that you can create that doesn't have an influence from something else. Um, but yeah, it's a really interesting film. To me, it's a really interesting film. Stressful, masterful, um, like it's really adult themes, so it's not for kids. So anyone uh, that isn't an adult, stay away. Um, Doing warned. And also, if you don't like anything graphic in films, that might not be the film for you. But it's really it's good filmmaking. To me, it is. I have like a soft spot for scary movies. I don't watch them all the time because some of them can be stressful, and like they can stay with you and be a little bit traumatizing. So I am kind of picky about the ones that I actually watch. I don't watch all of them. Um, but zombie films, they're like, okay, you just have to escape that situations. It's fantasy mixed with a little bit of reality, and so like you have a way to separate from it. There's other ones that are more psychological or um, way more um, relatable, or that you it might be easier to think that you might end up in a situation like that. So those ones are, to me at least, are more stressful, and I kind of steer away from that kind of stuff. Uh, I don't know. It all depends. Again, it goes back to the taste you have in film and movies and series, and so yeah. If anyone wants a recommendation, I can probably give you one, because if I'm a huge nerd for media, and I've watched so many films. Not all of them, for sure, but a bunch of them. There's some that I know about them, but I haven't watched them, and I regret not watching them. Like classic films, but sometimes it's like overwhelming. It's a different. What I mean about classics is like uh, Gone with the Wind, like that film, for example. What's my favorite film? Well, let's see if I can show it. Like I'm literally wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. I think, to me, that's the most influential film in modern times. Having said that, now with more experience and learning more about how films are made, how Star Wars was made, um, he George Lucas did actually took a lot of influence from Dune, to the point that the creator of Dune, before he went and watched the film, he was saying like, I'm gonna really try not to sue. So it does have a lot of influence, but I think Star Wars encapsulates better what like the hero journey. So in that way, it I don't know, it's a different kind of storytelling. It's oriented towards like hope. You're hoping and cheering for the hero throughout the films, and you feel for them, and you connect to the characters. In Dune, there's to me there's even though the Villeneuve films are masterful, there's a level of separation between you as a viewer and what the characters are. Because actually, if you start to look into the lore, they're like they're super wealthy, separated from the rest of all the people that live in all those worlds, and kind of makes other people below them kind of disposable. It doesn't seem like that on the films that they made so far, but the more you look into the lore, the more feel that there it's a power struggle shown in a really extravagant and futuristic way, if it makes sense what I just said. Um, Actually, that I think because of all the politics that those books have, Tolkien didn't like Dune. Um, but yeah, I would say to me the best films really close to my heart they have to be Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings. Those six films are uh, really, I think, in modern filmmaking, I think they're really a backbone for a bunch of other things that they kind of became a reality after those were there. Uh, of course, there's plenty of other films that are great, but to me, those are I don't know. They influence so many people. There's people that decided to go into prop making or visual effects or 3D or movie making in general because of those films. Definitely, Star Wars has been a huge influence. Like I dreamed for years and years and years to maybe one day get to work in ILM, and the closest I got was that I did meet some people that actually worked there, and but yeah, so there's definitely um, a huge amount of people that were influenced by them, and I think it's undeniable the effects it had on culture. Um, so yeah, Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings. it would be awesome to like do some concept art for ILM or for Weta. Man, both places to me they're like, I don't know, heaven in terms of what the projects they get to work on. And but it's really selective. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is awesome. I think those films are masterful. Having said all that, uh, I don't I didn't enjoy the Hobbit trilogy. Those ones I was like, I don't know. They didn't hit the same way that the Lord of the Rings did. I think that's really hard to replicate. It's like trying to capture, as you guys say in English, trying to capture a lightning in a bottle. That's the kind of thing that a lot of people would love to be able to do, but it's really hard to replicate what was done for those films. And because it they had everything going for them, even though for example Star Wars didn't seem to have anything going for it at all. Nobody was giving Star Wars like, okay, what is this, a soap opera? This is nonsense. And they kind of, even I think they kind of laughed it off uh, a lot until it actually hit theaters and people went insane for those films. But to that point, and if you look into the history of a lot of films, the creators, it was a whole struggle to get the film done and to make it actually watchable. For Steven Spielberg, I believe it was Jaws that almost broke him, and for George Lucas, the first Star Wars was a nightmare for him. After the success of the first one, then okay, we have something going there. But the first film, it nightmarish, nightmare fuel. I don't know about the Lord of the Rings because I believe by the time that came along, there were a lot of films like Star Wars that kind of paved the ground. So okay, we can do fantasy and really wacky stuff in terms of creative endeavors. And I think I talk about it on one of my videos. Yeah, I do talk about it. The original Dune adaptation, that was also before the Lord of the Rings, even though critics destroyed it. And maybe you watch it and you think, oh, this is a terrible film, but the amount of stuff that director had to put in to that film, like, props to that guy. And he probably had to deal with all sorts of suits to get that film done. So yeah, I watched that film before I went and watched Dune, because I felt the need, like, I need to pay tribute to this director because he was the one that actually brought it to a theater for the first time. So to me it was important. Um, but if you watch it, you like, I'm pretty sure most people are gonna think, oh, this is silly. But the amount of work to whatever, even if the film that you're watching is a terrible film, if you look into it, you're gonna see that even the worst movie, it takes a lot of work to do. It's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of people that are super talented working on it. So I really don't like batching movies, even if they're bad. Maybe I don't talk about them because I don't want to bring shade to them. Uh, but uh, yeah, uh, movie making is it's its own beast, and it takes a lot of passion to push it out the door. Um, even though even though there's definitely bad movies out there, it takes a lot of work to do even the worst film you've ever watched. And yeah, for anybody wondering, if you look into it, you're gonna see it takes a whole lot of work. Anyways, I think I'm done for today. If you decided to watch my stream, I really appreciate it. Maybe this was a little bit of a different stream. Sorry, I held my cough for almost the whole stream. And but yeah, I appreciate you for being here. And as I mentioned multiple times in a lot of my streams, I have an illustrated deck of cards that you can find on my website. I also have a Redbubble shop that you can also find on my website, and ronaldsegovia.com. And what else am I missing? Oh, if you haven't, consider subscribing, hitting that like, hitting that bell, and all that good stuff. It's completely free for you, and it helps me a bunch, and I really appreciate it. Anyways, if you want suggestions for films, or you wanna talk about the stuff I do, feel free to drop a comment or join one of my streams. I'll gladly answer your questions. And anyways, I'm thinking of a bunch of stuff to shift my content. I don't know. I have to figure my stuff out. I think that's life. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Anyways, let me see if I can find my music. Until next time. Bye.